Welcome viewers. I am Dr. Rakesh Jain. Today we have with us Professor Promila Batra, Dr. Anand Kumarji, President IHP, Dr. Vismita Paliwal, Head Department of Clinical Psychology, Amit University, Jaipur. I will request Professor Anand to introduce the speaker of today in the webinar. President, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh Jain ji, and as President of Indian Academy of Health Psychology, I welcome all the viewers who are present here in this live program of YouTube. And on behalf of IAHP, I would like to tell you about the IHP E-Academy. IHP E-Academy has recently been launched, and we are having lot of activities, and we are going to start lot of activities on this platform. We will have many prominent and many eminent resource persons from all over the world who will speak on different aspects of health and well-being. And we are also going to start poster competitions, essay competitions, live chats, and we will also have panel discussions and webinars, interactive training sessions, poster essay competitions, and blogs. Today, we are hosting the second live speech of Dr. Promila Batra. Promila Batra doesn't need any introduction. She is a renowned personality and she is a great name in the field of psychology. So I welcome Promila Batra, and she had been former head Department of Psychology and former dean Department of Faculty of Social Sciences in MD University, Haryana. She has been conferred many awards and honors by various academic and professional organizations. I heartily welcome Promila Batra and request her to bless us with her speech on virtues and happiness in relationships. And today is a very auspicious day of Buddha Purnima. And Buddha taught us that a virtuous person is a compassionate person. And he taught about Karuna, Daya, and Chama. This was his major teachings. So on this auspicious day, I will request Promila Batra to speak on virtues and happiness in relationships.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Professor Anand, President IHP, respected Dr. Jain sir, E-Academy Chairman, Vismita ma'am, all the viewers, seniors, juniors, everyone, I wish you all a very good evening and a very happy Buddha Purnima. As sir has just now reminded us that Buddha had been talking about virtues, and when I look at the history, I remember Buddha as the first person, as a person. Before that, there are certain religious books in which virtues have been really deliberated upon a lot. Today's topic is going to be virtues and happiness in relationships. I am not going to deliberate on any of the theoretical concepts regarding virtues, happiness, or relationships. I just want to begin from the social skills. We all know that social skills have been considered to be very important in psychology. Why? Because these grease the wheel of our social interactions and which becomes a key to our physical, psychological, and social health, which is very important. And we all are very well aware that more is the better are the relationships, more is the happiness in our life. And that's why we look towards building the good relationship. Now, the point is that how do the virtues play a role into it? Either it was Buddha or these are the theological or religious books, including Seligman. Everybody has said that virtues can be a good source of achieving happiness. But the question is how? What do we have to do? For that, we will have to first understand that what is the chain link which decides that what is the particular manner in which we behave, and our social relationships depend upon that. See, I want to begin from virtues. In psychology, virtues are nothing but these are simply defined as the qualities that are universally or at least generally acceptable and desirable. So these are considered to be the good ways. Friends, from these virtues, we choose. Please note who chooses we. I myself for me, and you yourself for you. We all choose the values. What are these values? When certain amount, certain degree, and certain virtues we take up and we set some standards for ourselves. These are our values, these are our principles which are going to guide our behavior. They will tell us whenever we have to decide and act in a particular manner. Now it is your action on which your social relationship is going to depend. You talk lovingly, there is an emotional flow. You talk angrily, there is a negative emotional flow. So that means our relationship depends upon the action. To speak about the chain again, from the global virtue, I decide upon my own value, and then from that value, it is determined that what is my way of action, that acts of mine, those acts of mine, they decide my social relationship, and consequently, the happiness flows, and I feel happy. And that's why I say that virtues are the easiest and the best road towards happiness. But of course, in a small span of time, we can't be discussing every virtue. And in fact, we don't need to have every virtue in ourselves. One, two, or three might do. Today, we will be talking about two, that is empathy and then gratitude. When I talk of the empathy, some people like WHO has included into the life skills, even Seligman has not included into virtues. So it's for you to decide. You can think about it as virtues and skills, but I call it a virtue. I happen to agree with only one more quote by Eric Zone, who says that empathy is a virtue which helps you in the flow of the other virtues in us. And this is what I'm trying to convince you. I will try to convince you all exactly about the same statement. Empathy, I'm not discussing the meaning. I want to say that what it really does for us. Empathy can change our perspective, our attitude, which is an important virtue. I'll give you an example of my case. I will just talk about my own cases of counseling. I will take them as example, but I'm not going to present them as the cases. These cases I will present to you in such a way that you please try to match your flow of thought with the way I'm going to express it, so that in the end you can realize that empathy can be a wonderful virtue for us to bring us happiness and good relationships. First case of mine I'm going to discuss with you, I have named it as a good morning case. In one of the cases, what I observed, you might have observed it in your life many times. What happens? Suppose I take an example of a spouse. One of them gets up and is in a habit of saying good morning every day. Now, within a month or so, the spouse develops a habit. Suppose husband says good morning to wife as and when he gets up. After another month, there is a change in the behavior of the husband and he doesn't say good morning. Once, twice, the wife is able to ignore. But then after 3, 4 days, he again starts. This is a real case. He again starts saying good morning. Now the wife is a little confused. She really doesn't know. And sometimes she starts narrating and she starts relating it to his general nature. And she starts saying, oh, he's a very moody person. Mostly when we talk like this, our emotion is negative about it. But Now let us use empathy. Suppose while using such kind of an empathy, now that lady thinks in a different way because empathy makes you considerate. She will now think, oh, what is it? Is there something wrong with him? Is he living in anxiety? Oh, I don't know. I wonder, had he been dreaming bad? So now she's worried. Now she's considerate. As a result, her emotional flow direction changes. She says, good morning. She herself says good morning and she creates happiness into the family instead of just waiting because she's empathic. She's trying to understand and the things don't stop here. There is every possibility that sometime during the day she will ask, what's wrong? Are you okay? You didn't say good morning. Are you stressed? Would you please like to share that with me? So that's how she's encouraging the sharing into the family. Two things, creating happiness, and then she's talking in a loving manner instead of getting angry when she was getting angry without using the empathy. And sharing is a beautiful tool. It is a vicious cycle. The stronger is the bond, more is the sharing. And vice versa is also true. You can begin from anywhere. And that's how you strengthen your bond with each other. Exactly the same example, if I extend to the school, many of you might have come across the similar kind of the cases. It is a very simple behavior of a teacher, and what it is that they do not respond warmly to the greetings by the students. And then what happens? You all are very well aware of. I also get many cases of this kind. Had the teacher been empathetic enough, and had he been able to understand that his unintentional small behavior is causing so much of the misery to so many of the students, he would have never done it. But what is that misery? You all try and imagine with me. What are going to be the reactions of such kind of the children? First, he feels rejected. He feels ignored. Then he develops the fearfulness. He is always afraid of talking to the teacher. Not only that teacher, maybe many more other teachers as well. So he starts feeling inferior. He starts lacking the confidence. At the top of it, he's really confused. Till now, he was thinking that greeting your teachers is a good virtue. But now he doesn't know whether he should do it or he should not do it. Consequently, he develops the poor relationship with the teacher. When the relationship is poor, obviously, it is going to have a negative impact on the studies of that child. And when there is a negative impact on the studies of that child, automatically the family relation is also going to be spoiled because the parents are really and really going to ask the child, scold the child, coax the child to study because the parents are also not using empathy, unfortunately. So, how much of the losses we are having? We are depriving our child of developing knowledge, wisdom, curiosity, creativity. We are devoiding him of courage. He can't even ask the questions. He will never become perseverant. He will not learn persistent. He will not learn integrity. So you see, lack of empathy by one small thing, one small behavior of the teacher is taking us to such a poor development. So as a teacher, we really need to think about it, and empathy in the schools is very, very important. The next example which I'm going to take is going to be of an experience which maybe many of us have. A behavior which is highly prevalent everywhere, either it is a school, it is a home or a family, or we talk of the organizations, institutions, organized, unorganized uh, structure, wherever, everywhere. I think some of you have really caught me well. Yes, I'm talking about bullying behavior. Bullying is very common, and majority of us have felt bullied at one time of our life, either real or perceived, whatever it is, bullying has been a threat which we have been feeling. Please, I request all my viewers to try and think the way I am going to present the things now. You also have been doing many cases of the bullying and you know the bad impacts of that. The method which I am going to use now is going to be very useful for our own healing as well. So now I'm trying to prove that empathy can be a method for self-healing. It can be a self-medication as well. Let us think. Who is a bully? I think we all know. Bully is a person, if I talk in a common language, who is trying to lengthen his line by cutting our line. Our line. Because he can't lengthen his line. So he's trying to cut short on my line. In what condition one is doing it? As I said, because he's not able to lengthen his own line. So that means that person is definitely lacking something in his own. What does he want? He wants to present a good picture of him. Not only to the people, but to himself as well. To himself as well. So his self-image is threatened. You all know that it is very well proven that majority of the bullies, they happen to have a low self-esteem. Isn't it enough? I can talk more, but isn't it enough for you to understand that what kind of a person a bully is? Once you are using an empathic eye and you know and understand that what is the problem of a person, that means he's a self-obsessed person. Maybe he's a narcissist. Maybe he is mastering a low self-esteem and much more. In that case, will you like to be angry at him? Will you like to be hurt? Will you? At least I won't. I pity such people and I have practiced that kind of the pity. As a result, definitely we feel really good. Why? Because I'm no more hurt. And the matter doesn't stop here, friends. Trust me, when we think like this, our attitude changes. It changes to a large extent. Now your thought flow is going to be different. And you are going to think, okay, what should I do? Okay, let me not bother. Let go. Let me do it. Let go. Some people might think, poor guy. Forgive him, yaar. Forgiveness, it is a virtue. Some people may go further. How can I help? I pity this person. Okay, what is this help? This is a altruistic behavior, again a virtue. Some people might like to go further. How can I protect this person? Okay, if not much, at least I can do this that when the others are criticizing, at that time I can protect him or her. Again, what is this? This is a pro-social behavior. And how you are gaining? You are becoming more resilient. You are becoming a forgiving kind of a person. The wonderful virtue, which is required for both the temperance and the transcendence. The matter doesn't stop here. You are not only happy, it's much more than that, because you are understanding, you are considerate, you are trying to ignore the behavior of that person. What is the result of that? Extinction. So you are also being instrumental in extinction of that negative behavior of that other person. It's all win-win situation in every way. The last example of empathy I will like to take refers to the boss. Suppose you have gone to ask for a leave, you want to go on a casual, and the boss says no to that. Get angry. Why? Because casual is a matter of right for you. But if you use an empathic eye, your thought will automatically go towards the fact that why is he saying no? Is it about the target achievement? Is it about the workload? Is it the overload? What all? You understand yourself without asking. In case if you don't understand and have a doubt, there is every probability that now you will go and ask. So this is a social communication you are learning. But because now you are not angry, you are not gonna be aggressive, you are going to be assertive. This is another change in you only and only because you simply thought of not being angry. Then you start discussing. When you discuss, you know the reasons, he tells you the reasons. In case if you are in an emergency, in that emergent situation, you will express in a better way, and then you make some adjustment, both of you make some adjustment. So you become more flexible, you become more agreeable, your commitment towards work improves, Your relationship with your boss is now improving. You have become a better decision taker. Overall, I can say that now you have become more prudent, particularly in your decision making. What else do we really want to learn from empathy? So, my dear friends, all I want to say is that we need to learn not to coax people, not to force people, either it is a child or it is a peer. In another study, the parents approached, I'll be very quick in this study, and their son was not going to the school. It was a case, he was a 12th class student. Now, when they came to approach me, I simply did nothing but a bit of the psychoeducation on parenting style combined with slight cognitive re-engineering, that is developing the empathic eye to know that if the child is not going to the school, he's certainly under some trouble. If intelligent boy stops going to the school, there is something wrong. So he's already stressed, and by forcing him, we are stressing him to the double. The father was convinced. He never thought that way. So the perspective changed. When he got up, he said, "Ma'am, not a week, give me 15 days." And trust me, friends, his using empathic eye made him so friendly. They shared in such nice ways that the boy started going to the school on 15th day itself, and they just gave me a call and the counseling was over. This is what is the power of the empathy. Dear friends, empathy to conclude is nothing, but if you start developing your power of empathy, the whole world opens to you. The whole world opens to you. It is a psychological hug. It is a psychological hug for you. It is a psychological hug for others. As I said, this is the self medication. Remembering Rogers, I'm remembering Rogers on the fact that he said that empathy is definitely complex and demanding, but it is a strong and a gentle tool of being. Being, and who doesn't want to become in life? We all want to become. It is a process. It is a continuous process and the best thing which we can achieve in the life. So with that, I would now like to move towards the gratitude. When I talk of the gratitude, again, I will not get into the theoretical concept, but in one line, we all know that it is a social emotion. A social emotion that signals our recognition of what others have done for us. Recognition of what others have done for us. We feel happy when we feel that others have done something for us. Somehow we are naturally made like this, that we really like to take instead of giving. But once when we start taking and we become self-sufficient, we really enjoy the giving. So therefore, the gratitude makes you feel that you are getting enough, which is really important before you start giving things to the other. This is what is gratitude. Emmons had done a lot of work on this issue. However, I'm not going into the advantages of the gratitude. I will simply like to just take 2 or 3 cases. I request Dr. Jan to tell me when the time is over, although I will try to manage the time myself. Anyway,
Yes, ma'am.
so what I
I'll
was
try.
telling you about the gratitude, we'll again just take certain cases. The first case I want to talk about is about the families, because the families are a major concern of mine. I'm really, really worried that why a child has to run out of the family, why he doesn't find his security into the family with any of the family members, any. So I will like to talk about the relationship which maybe more than 50% of the people are facing or have faced once upon a time. Yes, I'm talking about the relationship between a daughter-in-law and a mom-in-law, which we find is really spoiled in most of the cases. Very unfortunate perspective which we are conditioned with. See, in one case, when I started, the first thing which I did was, when a daughter-in-law was just too disturbed, I simply asked her to imagine that what all her mother-in-law must have been doing while rearing up the husband. Her husband, who became his person, who became his man just after taking a few rounds around the pious fire. That mother who owned him till now, he has given it to that woman. So the women are forced to think like that. What it is good in their mothers-in-law. Whatever we have today is all because of that. In one of my books, I have written when I was doing the cognitive re-engineering for misogyny. If I speak in Hindi, ek pala pulaya, mushtanda. अग्नि के 4 फेरे लेकर के रातों रात किसी और का हो गया. What else do you need in life? When you start thinking like that, when you start imagining like that, in majority of my cases, the love started flowing. And at the worst, if love does not start flowing, at least you become neutral. If you are not at peace, if you are not at peace in your heart, yet that anger is not there, that hurt is not there, you are less hurt and you are neutral, then you want to serve anything, either physical, emotional, or anything of the other kind to your mother-in-law. So that is how you achieve a happiness which is eudaimonic. It is eudaimonic happiness because now you are realizing that you are getting something. See, buying any shirt, buying a pair of shoes or a pant or a sari can never give you any that kind of a happiness. You achieve hedonic happiness. But what is the actual and the content in which you find a content? That happiness is the eudaimonic happiness because it is related to the self, and these virtues of gratitude and empathy, they take you and they towards yourself, and you develop a good relationship with yourself. That is what is the best part about it. I'll give you one more case on gratitude. There was a teenager girl. She was a college-going girl, and she came with the complaint that her father is very strict and he doesn't allow her wearing jeans. Such a petty small problem. Of course, I knew that issue is something different. On further probing, I said, what is the attitude of your mother? She told me that her mother is a patient of depression for last 13 years. This is a 15 years old case I'm telling you, one of my very initial ones. For last 13 years, she's suffering from depression, and the father is managing all the household chores, his job, bringing up the 3 children. She was the eldest one, and the mother was to be hospitalized frequently. As a result, the father had to bear even that burden. So, you can imagine what was the condition of that man. We, the counselors, have one beautiful skill with us. That is the degree of lead. While trying to use her the empathic eye, I used that degree of the lead and I led her towards trying to understand and empathize her father. You know what was the result? After second or third session, she started helping the father. She was not only doing the household chores, now she was trying to help the father in rearing up the children as well. Those 2 younger brothers. She was talking to the mother as well. In the last session, I talked to her over this issue that what about the major issue you came for? She said, ma'am, now I understand that my father is overloaded with so many of the problems that probably he cannot bear an additional burden of the eve teasing. And since we are living in a backward city, he is not convinced with this. I said, how about you? She said, I will take time and convince him. She herself was now mature enough that she developed the trust into the father, and she told him, Papa, I can do everything. There is nothing to worry about. My last point for today is, because I think the time is running, how can we develop this gratitude? I'll give you one module which was developed by me. There are many modules, you know about them. Seligman himself has given. There are many more, writing journals, then writing letters, etc., etc. But I'm giving you a slightly different model which I started using for an internet de-addiction program. One of my students, Batra, had been helping me in doing this group counseling. Now, we use this model in 4 steps. The first step we ask the people to write gratitude for is about the earth. Why I take earth? I have taken earth for the reason that it is, see, man is not a machine. It is not a remote button that you put it on and suddenly I start feeling an emotional flow about somebody regarding, I am thankful to that person. I should be thankful to that person. No, it's not that very easy. Earth is an object. It's easier to have that kind of the gratitude. Another purpose I serve is that environment is a serious issue. So the people start realizing and thinking about that. Therefore, this is an easy method. And another important advantage is that everyone has read something or the other about the earth when we were in the schools. It is related with mother, the mother earth they talk about. In every group of mine, I found it. It becomes very easy for me to link it with the mother. And my second step on the next day, I ask them to write about the gratitude towards the parents, particularly the mother. Now, when they write it, many adolescent people, without any other kind of the counseling, have improved their attitudes towards their family and they have tried to modify their behavior in a very successful way because they never thought like this. We don't count upon the positives we have in our family. So they did it. The third point which we do is that write a gratitude note for somebody whom you really like. And I ask them to do it in the form of a letter because they have to communicate it. From here, I go back also. And now I ask them, can you communicate this gratitude to your parents and the mother? Because communicating with the friends, we are doing it every day is easier. All of a sudden, till yesterday, I was yelling on my mother, and today I have to go and hug her and tell her, I need some time. So that's why first step, second step, third step, communication, go back and communicate it to your parents. And then the fourth and the last step which we can take is, you might find it funny. Every group has found it funny, but I liked it. If you like, you may adopt it. Write a gratitude note towards a person you really dislike or you even hate. Funny, na? No, it is not. It is absolutely not. They all ask, they're all surprised, but they do it. Here, as a counselor, you have to use a bit of the self-disclosure. A bit of the self-disclosure. Take any negative event of your life, any negative experience, person, situation, and tell your group to whom you are training that, see, if had this negative thing not happened with me, I would have never been that resilient. I would have not learned this particular art, whatever you can tell them. And that motivates them. Trust me, that motivates them, and they start writing. My experiences in the first group were just too good. After that, this has been tried by my student also, and I'm also trying it in everyday life with many of my clients, and 3 or 4 groups I've already run onto it. And they all write. You know, in the first group, people started crying. They had been shedding tears as if all the hatred was being shed with those tears which were coming out. And that's how we can gain pleasure. That's how we can learn to live happy. In the end, my dear friends, all that I want to say is that we need to tilt our perspective from anger to empathy, from empathy and the values we have to look at. It is a man-to-man emotional flow. In empathy, we start learning to echo the feelings of the person in front of us. And that's how the emotional flows, they start getting exchanged, they start getting exchanged with each other, and the communications improve. As a result, there is a tilt in our attitude towards positive things, towards positive emotion, towards positive thinking, towards positive feelings. In the end, I really wish And I hope that I have been able to convince my viewers that empathy and gratitude both can bring a lot of change into our lives. I fully hope so. In my view, it's not good that we have stopped teaching the moral education. It should come back in the schools, but in a different forms, because the virtues cannot be taught by lecture or instructions. Virtues are to be modeled. You, me, other teachers at home, in the organizations and in the schools have to be the good models so that these positive emotions can flow into each other. With that, I fully hope that we will become the model. And if we become the model, I'm sure the individuals are going to flourish. The families are going to really thrive. The communities are going to flourish. And the nation and the world is also going to thrive. In the end, once again, I want to just convey my thankfulness, my gratitude to the President, IAHP, and Dr. Jain for giving me this opportunity. And with that, I finish. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me a patient listen. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. We have so many viewers today throughout the country, and so many appreciations are pouring in the comment section. There are, thank you, madam. It was really wonderful and amazing session. And there are viewers who are requesting us to have more sessions from you. There are many viewers who want, and there are viewers also who expressed gratitude towards you for helping so many people in the life,
Thank you.
overcoming their trauma, sadness, fears. There are comment, madam. Also, there are some questions. Shall it be convenient for you to take up some of the questions?
Sure, sir. I will try my best to satisfy the
Yes,
query.
please, madam. We have Dr. Vismita. She'll be asking questions on behalf of the audience. Please, Vismita.
Good evening, everyone. We have amazing audience here. More than 300 live comments we have received, and everyone is like, once more for ma'am. And we will definitely be looking forward for more sessions. Ma'am, you have explained empathy and gratitude so nicely with the help of amazing case studies, and everyone is appreciating it so much. We have some questions. We have a question from Gritika Mishra. She's saying, ma'am, what if we are trying our best in a relationship but things are going wrong continuously? Do we need to stay with our positive side of it, or should we try something else?
See, in this answer, there can be the individual opinion based answers, but as a counselor, I will never suggest to become negative. One has to keep oneself under the observation, and one has to see that what's going wrong with that positivity, where I am failing in generating that positivity. There are multiple causes for that. Sometimes, you know what happens, 3 or 4 times a woman keeps quiet or the husband keeps quiet, and then suddenly there is a burst. So that consistency is not there. This is what is I have found in most of the cases. But of course, without talking to anyone, I really cannot say that what exactly is going wrong and where. That's one thing. Another thing is that why do I want to get angry? If I become negative and my emotion is negative, there is no doubt that negative hurt is going to be there in me. At least you can keep yourself at peace. So therefore, what we can do is, here we can think of developing the virtues of transcendence. Forgiveness is one of them. Gratitude is the first step to forgiveness. The steps to forgiveness are REACH. Those can be adopted, and that can really help. Then surrender. Surrender is one thing. Always remember, friends, we cannot control the stimuli. We can control our responses. So if somebody is saying something, It's me who has to choose whether I'm getting irritated or I'm not getting irritated, whether I'm getting angry or not. So I'm sure if you think this way, things should improve for you. That's how I believe.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The next question is from Harish Chauhan. He asks how to analyze when to initiate an empathetic conversation in a relationship.
See, when it comes to initiation of any conversation, it is again a subjective decision. First thing which you have to see is that the person you want to talk to should be in a mood to talk and should be in a mood to listen. That is the best time. One thing. And even before you initiate, you have to think whether you need to initiate or not. Because some personalities are such, if you tell them something good, even then they get irritated. Maybe it is their own inferiority feeling and they think that you are trying to instruct. So you have to really think very carefully about it. But yes, a good mood, and the person should be able to listen to that. Otherwise, you alone can practice the empathy and you can mend your own hurt. You may not be able to always correct the things on your own, but yes, under the guidance, you definitely can. But this is the major tip which I have given.
Thank you, ma'am. One question has been asked by Krishan N. Singh. He asks, do you think that let it go attitude will result as a self-defense mechanism in an individual and will develop to ignore the reality in the future?
Well, it can and it cannot. It depends and it varies from situation to situation. And one more thing I want to ask. Are the defense mechanisms that bad thing? Yes. That's not a very positive way towards happiness. But it is not that very negative way towards happiness as well. We need to survive. So does it really matter if it becomes a defense mechanism? We have to think like that. This is one thing. Second thing, yes, we can't be away from the reality. Reality is to be accepted. Reality is to be understood. It is to be analyzed. It is to be analyzed with authenticity, with honesty, and with a genuine regard towards that other person about whom you are thinking or with whom you are into that particular relationship. And that's how a combination of all these things can help you. I hope I'm not being too complicated in my replies.
No, not at all, ma'am. Not at all.
Okay.
You've been very clear and precise.
Okay, because I try to make the lecture easy.
And I
And
can see the comments, everyone is appreciating it and they are understanding it very well.
okay,
So,
but I
uh,
thought the complicated answers will not help the viewers. That's why I asked. Yes, go on.
there's one more question, ma'am. Rakesh Kumar Srivastav is asking that can you please highlight the linkages between happiness, hope, and optimism?
Yes, hope is, of course, a wonderful way towards happiness. If I take an example, there is a patient of cancer. In cancer patients, hope has really helped a lot. That's why I'm taking this example. The person has cancer, but the person has hope. He or she thinks that I will survive. We all can imagine what is going to happen to that person. The person is motivated. His willpower is stronger. His will to live is stronger. And I've come across the patients who were told by the doctors that you just cannot live anymore. They say that go back, but I've seen them living for more than 2 years. One patient I have seen living for 6 years because there was hope in the mind. I will do, I can do. When they think I will do, I can do, they are flown with the positive energies. These positive energies help you in doing so many other things. See, this is a multiple impact you are going to have. I'm motivated, so I get up. I want to go for a walk. I want to talk nicely to the people. My behavior is such which has a positive impact upon me. I keep on doing the things which are instrumental for me, which give me a sense of achievement. Suppose I'm an artist. Because of that hope, I keep on painting. This painting gives me a sense of achievement. And we all know that how this creativity helps us in becoming happy. All the hormones of happiness are going to be released because there is hope. Hope also releases oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. So that's
Uh,
how.
sorry.
That's how. Well, I'm over. That's how hope and optimism are linked to happiness.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Last but not the least, we have a question from Dr. Vishwa Chaudhary from University of Rajasthan, and she's asking that how should we proceed with forgiveness? Are there some steps to move forward with it?
Yes, yes, there are so many, but the first step is empathy. First step is empathy. Take the same example of bullying behavior. We are all hurt. We felt embarrassed. We felt humiliated. We feel humiliated. But when I change my perspective, that is empathy, then what happens? I start pitying him. That forms the base of forgiveness. You can read the model of REACH, REACH. R is recall, E is empathize, A is appreciate that person. Just now I gave you one exercise which I said people might be finding funny that I hate somebody, but yet I want to appreciate. So we have to appreciate. So I have to change my perspective. Say, let me give you an example. I was talking about the mom-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. Okay, when I suppose I am the daughter-in-law and I am remembering about anything wrong about my mother-in-law, I recall it. I don't need my mother-in-law to be there. I recall it. After recalling, I empathize. Why she was doing it? Oh, I understand. I understand. Probably, she feels threatened. She thinks and she finds it difficult to share her son with me. She is afraid. I'm able to empathize. Now I will appreciate. Oh, yes, I understand. Mama, you are very right at your own place. So after this appreciation, I can take two other steps of C and H. And in those steps, H is for happiness only, and C is to develop a curiosity and then approaching that person. And that is how we can be helping ourselves forgive the people. Forgiveness is not very difficult. Not very difficult. It's easy. It's very easy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this amazing session. Although there are a lot of questions, but because of limitation of time, we have only gone through some certain selected questions, and surely we will be getting much more of your sessions. So all the other audience whom we were not able to include their questions are requested to just look forward for us, subscribe us, and look forward for more sessions from ma'am so that they have their questions answered. Now I request President Sir to please address our viewers as well as our members and ma'am.
I am really grateful to Dr. Promila Batra. She had a wonderful session, so easily explained each and every concept about gratitude, empathy, the core components of these virtues, which are necessary for our successful and happy life. But I would also like to provide some tips about the important virtues which are essential for our happy and successful life, and that are loyalty, honesty, kindness, patience, commitment, assertiveness, most important, courage, and as already told by Promila Batra ji, that resilience, pro-social behavior, social communication are also very important in getting the success and getting the happy life. So I am really grateful to this speech, and I am grateful to Dr. Promila Batra, Dr. Rakesh Jain, and Dr. Vismita Paliwal, and all the viewers who very patiently listened her, and it was really a wonderful session, and we will definitely continue with other sessions, and you will get very positive feedback from all the speakers, and most probably we are having the next session from Dr. Professor Mahendra Sharma ji, who is professor in Nimhans, and he would be speaking about mindfulness. So very important component, mindfulness. He's mastermind of mindfulness. He has done 20 years researches, a lot of work on mindfulness, and he conducts wonderful workshop on mindfulness. So for a happy and successful life, how to just employ the practices of mindfulness, that would be our next session, and we will have more sessions by Professor Promila Batra as required. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for the great initiative of IHPE Academy for bringing these webinars, talks. And now I'll request Dr. Vismita to express our gratitude to Madam and the viewers. Please.
Thank you, sir. So, as you all can see, guys, we have a lot of good sessions coming up front, and I request you all to subscribe so that you get timely alerts for it, and you are able to sign in and see our live sessions and other virtual aids as well, which will be uploaded with time. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, our viewers, for being such an amazing audience, such an overwhelming crowd here. And I also thank our president, sir, who has initiated this e-academy, IHP e-academy platform for all of us to interact and learn and share our views. I thank our speaker for today, Professor Promila Batra ma'am. I thank the chairman of our e-academy, Dr. Rakesh Jain, sir. I am also very thankful to all our executive council members, all our e-academy council members, and all of our viewers, students, research scholars, and everyone who has participated so nicely in today's session. We all appreciate your time, your efforts, your comments and questions. Please keep joining us. Please be connected with us so that we are able to provide you all the necessary aids for psychological well-being and for upliftment of psychology in the country. Thank you so much. I am really well to see we have people from Assam to Rajasthan, from Jammu and Kashmir to Kerala. Everyone is watching this session, and this is really amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Vismita. Thank you, Madam Promila, Anand sir. Now we are closing this session. We'll be meeting in next session by Professor Mahendra Sharma, most likely. Thank you. We'll be announcing. Thank you.